guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today's video is not one that I was planning on filming. If you are new here, then you may have missed a video that I posted a couple of months ago where I gave a life update since moving from Minnesota to Chicago, and in that video I talked about a lot of the issues that I've been having in this apartment since I moved in. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'm going to list that below along with my moving vlog. In both of those videos you'll see everything that has gone wrong. It seriously has been so much, I'm not even being dramatic, so I'll list those below if you want to get caught up to speed. But in that last life update I told you guys, despite all of the issues that I have run into here, I was planning on staying and just sticking it out through my lease term, because the thought of having to move again so soon after I just did that was so overwhelming to me. Moving is stressful for everybody. It's a lot of work. Nobody really wants to do it. But if you're living alone, that just makes it so much more stressful and so much more time consuming. Plus the cost of movers is crazy expensive because I do live alone. I can't physically move all of my heavy furniture myself. I would definitely need a few people to help, so I had to hire movers, and I'm going to have to do that again. So because of all of those things, I was like, it's just not worth it to me right now to do that only a couple of months after I literally just put myself through all of that. So I'll stay. But now I am not staying. I am officially getting out of this apartment, and I told you guys that on my Instagram stories, and so many of you were like, wait, what? I thought you were staying. How'd you get out of your lease? What happened finally? It must have been really bad to make you finally decide to do that if you were gonna stay through all the crap that you put up with. Please do a story time. So we're gonna do a little bit of a story time. So I live in a decently large complex. There's a lot of residents, and naturally with that comes a lot of package deliveries every single day. But because this is an older building, it wasn't built with a large package room to store everything so that residents could pick up packages themselves. There is a small room in the lobby, but what I was told is that because it's too small to store all of the packages that they get every day, instead the maintenance staff or the office staff will deliver packages to your door a few times a day, and they will knock on your door, wait for you to answer, and then leave your package there if you're home. If you're not home, they told me that they would just take the package back with them and try to deliver another time. That's not what they do. So I went back home to Minnesota for about a week over the holidays, and I knew that I had several deliveries scheduled throughout that week. So I thought that they were just gonna hold on to my packages while I was gone and then redeliver once I returned. But when I got back to my apartment, I saw several packages sitting in front of my door, so I was like, that's weird, because I obviously wasn't home to accept the delivery like they said. But on top of that, I realized that tons of the packages that did say delivered in my emails were not actually sitting in front of my door. So I was like, maybe they're sitting in that room. I texted the office staff and said, I have several packages that were delivered to the building last week that were not placed outside my unit. Is there anyone in the building that can check the package room for me? And he basically said that he checked the package room and none of my packages were there, and that they would have been delivered the same day. So I said, I have at least 3 packages that were delivered last week that I need. Where can I find them? And he said, I don't know, maybe somebody took them. You're gonna have to claim that you didn't receive them.
Okay.
So I said, I thought packages weren't left outside my door unless I was home. You're telling me they were left there for someone to steal? And he said, yes. So that obviously sucked, to lose out on all of that money and just have the building be like, but I tried to make myself feel better about the situation by telling myself that maybe it was a one-time thing because of the time of year, and someone knew that around the holiday time, a lot of people would not be in the apartment complex, and if there's packages there, there's probably not someone inside that unit, so it would be a good time to try to steal them. Which obviously didn't make me feel good about where I lived, but I was like, hopefully this won't be an ongoing issue, and I don't have any more trips coming up that are for an extended period of time that make me feel worried about this happening again. But I should have been worried because it has continued to happen since I have been here. Throughout these 3 months that I've been here, it's not even been a full 3 months at the time of me filming this, I have had so many packages go missing. And at first I thought that they were being stolen directly in front of my door from someone, and I was like, that is so sketchy. Someone's just walking around stealing stuff. But now I think what is actually happening is that the building staff has too many packages and too many deliveries daily, and they are just making human error and putting packages in front of the wrong door, and then that person is keeping the package. I know that because that actually happened to me. They gave me a package that wasn't mine. I had a few packages, so I brought them all into my unit, Didn't go through them until a couple days later, and I realized this is not my package. So I obviously delivered it back to the building because that's what a good person does. But then on top of that, I saw that one of the packages that I ordered was sitting in front of my neighbor's door all the way down the hall. I had ordered contacts. I was like, that's weird timing because mine said that they were delivered today, but they're not here. I know a lot of people have contacts, so hopefully that's not the case, but let me just check just in case. Yeah, it was my package. It said my name on it, placed in front of someone else's door. So that was just kind of further confirmation for me that they're not being careful about where they're placing packages. And then if someone wants to keep that delivery, they can. Every time I get lip gloss down here, I just had to go redo all of that. It was looking not cute. So this continued to be a problem. I was getting more and more irritated, of course, because not only was I missing out on my own money from purchasing these things and having them go missing, I was also starting to get stressed about the PR situation because I'm sent a lot of packages on a weekly basis from brands. Sometimes they tell you when they're sending you something, but more often than not, they don't. And it's kind of like a surprise. You have a package from a brand that day. So because of that, I didn't have any way of tracking packages that were coming in from brands to keep track of what was potentially not showing up at my door. And I use a lot of those packages to film content for you guys. So I was like, this is terrible. I'm living somewhere where I can't guarantee delivery of packages, which means that I'm losing a lot of money and things that I need to do my job. So I had about had it, but I didn't really know what to do. The last package that was stolen or not delivered to me was a dress that I purchased for my best friend's wedding. And obviously event dresses like that are not cheap. It's not like I ordered a freaking pair of socks. It was a really nice dress. I was really excited about it. It's going to be this gorgeous winter wedding. It's actually this weekend. I'm so excited. By the time that you guys are watching this, it will have already happened, but it just never came. I was like, are you kidding me? What? So not only do I now not have a wedding, I do not have a wedding, a dress for this wedding, or the dress that I thought I was going to be able to wear, I just lost like $250. Like, I'm done.
But I just think enough is enough.
So I called my landlord and I blew up on the phone. I was like, here's what's been happening. On top of everything that has already gone wrong, which by the way, I've been a very good sport about. Most people would have been long gone at this point, but I have been patient with you when I should not have been. And while we're at it, not only have I lost all of this money because of y'all, you guys still haven't replaced the door like you told me you would. So when that door broke, they did a temporary fix on it. It was secure enough to make me feel safe, but the door still needed to be fully replaced, and they told me that they would do that. Nope, haven't done it. I was like, the fridge still hasn't been fixed. Since I moved in, you guys told me that was gonna be fixed. It hasn't been. Oh, and the dryer still doesn't dry my clothes. So for that reason, I am out. I also told him in that rant that I had documented everything. I had photos, I had videos, I had dates, I had timestamps. So he kind of knew at that point he did not have any other option than to let me out of my lease. So he was like, that's fine. And he actually, I will say, in that moment was nice enough about it. He was like, you need to live somewhere where you feel safe, and you know, if you want to leave the premises, whatever, you can do that. I just need 30 days and then you can be out of your lease and I'll give you your security deposit back. So I was like, yeah. So that's how I got out of my lease. I was then starting to get really stressed thinking about having to move again. But it's like someone knew that I was like, well, should I just stay? Because then my apartment almost got broken into a few nights later. So after I gave him my 30 days, I spent that next week looking for apartments, going on tours, really stressing myself out. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was so exhausted. So by the time Friday rolled around, I was like, I just need to stay in tonight and try to catch up on sleep, because I honestly feel low-key a little bit sick because I'm super sleep deprived. If you don't know this about me, I struggle with insomnia when I get really stressed. So I was like, we're having a sober, just me kind of night tonight. So I went to bed early. Around 5 a.m., I heard pounding on my door and the door handle vigorously shaking.
I feel like I'm in danger.
And I was so out of it, like in this deep trance of a sleep, that my brain registered what was happening. several seconds before my body actually did. So I remember laying there feeling super calm, like, okay, somebody's breaking into my apartment right now. So once they get in and break the door, they'll come into my room, and then what am I gonna do when they get in here? And then it was like, I shot up out of bed, my heart's pounding out of my chest. I'm like, oh, someone's actually trying to break into my apartment right now. I'm here alone. Oh my God. And of course, I've got a door that doesn't feel actually 1000% secure to me. It felt secure enough for day to day, but when someone's actually doing that to your door and it sounds like the doorknob's getting ripped off, you feel differently about how secure that patch-up job was. So now I'm fully freaking out. I'm looking around my room like, I don't have any weapons in here. So I dial 911 on my phone to get ready to call, and I'm like, the only thing I have in here that could do some damage is a vase.
Stop it. Get some help.
So I grab this vase. I'm like, I don't know, I'll clock someone in the head with it, I guess, and hopefully that takes him out for long enough. But there's no way I would actually be able to follow through with that. I was actually standing in front of my door, vase in hand, phone like this, and I was like, if someone busts in here right now, I'm gonna be too scared to even hit call. Like, I know I will chicken out and I'm gonna die here in this apartment. So then whoever was doing that stopped by some miracle, and I heard what I thought was a door unlatching.
I'm gonna die, man.
And I know that when someone breaks into your place, you're not supposed to walk out to confront them. The best thing to do is probably hide, but I can't just sit there and wait to die. I can't. There's no way. If someone's walking around in my apartment, I'm just gonna sit on my bed. Nope. So I walk out into the apartment, vase in hand, and I don't see anyone in the entrance, so I immediately go to the kitchen to grab a knife.
Let me see what you have. I'm going. No!
So I'm walking around my apartment checking every room with this huge freaking butcher knife, and nobody was there. And the door, I mean, in retrospect, the door would have been probably open if someone was really in there, but it wasn't. I go look out in the peephole, I don't see anyone. I'm like, I survived. This is an I survived story. So after that, there was a negative 3,000% chance that I was going to fall back asleep. So I'm just laying in my bed, like, questioning myself, was that really my door? What the heck just happened? Maybe it was my neighbor's door, or maybe somebody was locked out of their apartment. This is weird, because then at that point it was like 5:20 in the morning, and I'm like, this is such a strange time for something like that to happen. But I know bars are open super late in Chicago, so it could just be like an hour after someone left the bar. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I was like, I bet if it was my door, I'll be able to tell on the doorknob since it had been patched up. And you could definitely see that the handle was not flush with the door. Like, it was pulled off a little bit. So that made me feel like it was for sure my door. But the more I thought about it, I was like, maybe it was just somebody who was super drunk and thought that my apartment was their apartment, because if someone was trying to break in really and like wreak havoc, steal your stuff, why would they be pounding on the door to let you know that they were gonna do that? So I don't know what ultimately ended up happening. All I know is I was so freaking scared. By the way, after that whole break-in attempt happened, or I think happened, I contacted my landlord, was like, the door's not secure anymore, someone tried to break in. Let me pull these texts up. How did I almost forget this? And he told me to lodge a police complaint because there was nothing that he could do. The police are not gonna do anything if I call them and tell them that someone was pounding on my door. They're gonna be like, okay, did they break in? Did they steal something? Did you get hurt? So I said, this is no longer habitable because this door isn't secure. And he said, never heard of anything ever happening before in that apartment. I said, well, it just did. Like, that has no relevance to what just happened. He basically goes on to tell me that I need to call the police and talk to security, and that I have to take steps to fix the door because when he gave me the apartment, the door was in good condition. So it's basically my problem now. And on top of that, he was basically insinuating that this never happened. He's like, if that really did happen, if, as you say, someone really did try to break in, then why aren't you talking to security? Why aren't you calling the police? And I'm basically just saying, doing that doesn't secure the door. And then I said, we've already had this conversation. I sent you this photo of the door when I moved in. There's a large crack above it, so you can clearly see there was already damage on the day that I moved in. I did not cause that. He sends me the photo that I sent him. I'm like, yeah, I know what happened. And he's like, this is how it was broken after you took possession. Trying to blame me. Anyway, I repaired it on my expenses without asking anything from you. Hence, the matter should have ended, but again, you said I didn't give you a secured place. He said that any reasonable person would say that the photo that I sent him was a scratch mark, but that the door was fully secured and able to be perfectly locked from inside and outside. He then says that he is an attorney himself, and as far as possible, he's never said anything unreasonable. So at that point, I'm like, you're an attorney? I highly doubt it. And I posted that on my Instagram story, and one of you was like, you can actually look this up on this website. So I did. He's not on there, of course. I was like, your attempts to scare me are not working. So I sent another photo that shows that this is a crack. It's not just a scratch mark. And I was like, it's not just a scratch mark. So at that point, it was clear to me that he was not actually going to replace the door like he said he was going to, but because I had already given him my 30 days notice, I was like, I just don't have the energy to fight about this anymore. I have to move on from this situation. So I told him that. I was like, I'm not trying to argue. I'm letting you know what this looks like. And he's like, thanks, I understand. You already gave me your 30 days notice, so we're all good. I'm like, okay. That is actually the end of the story. So we are going to wrap up this video here. I hope that you guys had fun listening to this story, even though I definitely didn't have fun living it. That's a wrap. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, click on that notification bell, and send my channel to a friend. Thank you again, as always, for doing those things. Your support means the world. Thank you for watching this video and watching videos on my channel. I love you guys so much. Stay tuned for my next video because that will be up in a few days. But until then, I hope you have a great few days.